Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, pakhair ragle. Welcome to Well This Morning with Shaza Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen, on a beautiful, a pleasant morning. It is very pleasant here in the Twin Cities, and especially the federal capital, Islamabad, ladies and gentlemen. All of you who are watching, do write to us and tell us where you're watching from, because I'd love to learn from you how the weather is in your city, because we're so proud that Pakistan happens to boast with 4 seasons and different kinds of weathers and whatnot. So rise and shine, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your cups of coffees, because I've had mine. My spirits are lifted. My health is great, alhamdulillah, and I feel so blessed to wake up to such a beautiful morning. We are indeed the privileged ones. I mean, we are waking up to a new day with the best health and whatnot, but there are, unfortunately, some segments of the, not actually segments of the society, but some less fortunate people in the world, not only in Pakistan, who happen to be fighting with some terminal illness or any sort of diseases that we never wish upon us or our loved ones. But that is not the sad part. The sad part is their friends or family members choose to abandon them, especially when they are in the last stages of their life. And that is the worst part. I mean, imagine you've lived such an amazing life with your friends and your loved ones and whatnot. And when you learn that your life is about to end, they are the people who are abandoning you. But indeed, that is the sad part. There is, this is where the fact comes in that my, faith in humanity was restored again when I found out there are people in the world who are actually angels disguised as humans. And they take up the responsibility upon their own shoulders, and they take care of the people who are fighting with terminal illnesses and are not able to take care of themselves, or their families have abandoned them, and so many other things, which are unfortunate to happen to any normal person, a person like us or whatever. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, it's going to be sort of a serious discussion, but this is just for the purpose of, making you aware of what is going on in the world. Because we tell you P2B World is where we aware you and educate you. So without further ado, let me tell you what we are talking about today. I have some amazing, amazing people from across the oceans who have come especially for the show, just for probably 3 days in Pakistan, and they've made an appointment with us for the show, just to tell you people what they are doing and what sort of help they need from you. Because this is a collaboration among all the Pakistani family living in the United Kingdom. They're from different cities of the UK. They are the expats. They left Pakistan a few years ago. They've been working there. They've been living there. But now they felt like it's time to pay back to their country. So they are here with the services that they are providing to the citizens of the UK. This is about palliative care, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll be very honest when I say, like a commoner, my understanding and my knowledge of this is very little. So I think I'm going to introduce them to you so we can ask them what basically this is. So on my right side, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by someone who is a major part of this, who happens to be, they actually formed an organization with the name of Shaheen Palliative Project. And both of these people are representing that forum. And this person happens to be the fundraising lead of the project, Dr. Syed Amjad Iqbal. Hello, assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for having us on your show and giving us the opportunity to be able to introduce
You're
this.
most welcome. This is our pleasure, absolutely. And next to Dr. Amjad, we have with us someone whose sort of brainchild was this. This is, of course, a collective effort. We will ask her, but I feel like she happens to be the president of the project. I'm pretty sure a lot went down here. So this happens to be Dr. Sadaf Mudassir. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us on the show.
It's our pleasure, definitely. So to start with, I mean, we will definitely come to Shaheen itself. But what is palliative care? Because a lot of people out there who are watching the show right now, like me, do not understand it quite a lot. So please go ahead, any one of you.
So basically palliative care, it's, you'll find multiple definitions online on Wikipedia and things, but essentially I'll just sum it up for you. It's an approach of care to people who are suffering with life-limiting, life-threatening conditions. Their sufferings are great, their family sufferings are great, so it's like a whole package of care provided through a multidisciplinary approach by various specialists who can actually join hands and improve the quality of life. When I say quality of life, it encompasses their physical health, emotional well-being, addresses their spirituality, and essentially let them be themselves towards the very end of such difficult phases of their lives, rather than being feeling left out and just on the way out, which can be very demoralizing and very depressing for people.
Of course. Okay, so to start with, I think I'll have to take you back over here. You both happen to have different jobs, and this, what you're doing for Shaheen, your project, is not your job. You're not being paid for it. No one is paying you or asking you to do it, but this is just out of your pocket. You know, you guys are volunteering for it. This is non-profit. Tell me how it all started, and how did you all come together on board for the same project? Were you guys already doing something about this?
Okay, so I lost my mom in 2015.
I'm so sorry.
And that's where this started. Sorry, excuse me for that.
No
So this was my promise to my mother, my dying mom, that I am going to create palliative care service in our country, and I'm going to help all those dying patients who are just kicked out of the hospitals, and they're told that nothing can be done, take them home, and that's it. These people and their families are in pain. They are throwing up, and they are in pain. They're having fits, seizures, but they can't do anything because the doctors have told them, this, you know, there is no cure, hence we can't manage it. You just have to wait till you die.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing this with us, and I'm so sorry for your loss, Sadaf. But you're so brave to actually make this a reason for something so big. You are now actually an angel for so many people, you and your team. I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, a lot of family members and friends abandon people, especially where they are in the last stages of their life. That is when they come to you or you find them. That is how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So you started this in September last year. You registered the organization as well.
Yeah.
And what sort of response have you been getting from the community? Do a lot of people want to volunteer with you?
Yes, so alhamdulillah. So I was approached by lots of doctors, and then we together are now this project, and loads of people and organizations from the country are approaching us, and they want to know what this is and how they can, you know, sort of set it up in their hospital settings or in the community. So yes, there has been a positive outcome till now.
Okay, perfect. So Dr. Amjad, you happen to be the fundraising lead and also the media coordinator of this project. So what is basically your job? You also happen to be a doctor, so I'm sure you're taking care of the patients as well. So
Yes.
you're sort of multitasking. How does that go for you?
It goes very well for me, to be fair.
Okay, wow.
I've got a background with a bit of palliative care and oncology experience.
Yeah, please go on. Please go on.
Oncology experience when I was in my training years in the Royal Marsden Hospital in London. Recently, I've been working for a hospice in Huddersfield called Kirkwood Hospice. I've got ample experience with that, and I work as a GP, which is essentially known in Pakistan as a consultant in family medicine.
Okay.
Essentially, both of us are GPs working in different cities. This is completely voluntary work, but we have some expertise and experience which we want to share with our country, our brothers and sisters here, recognizing that it doesn't exist over here.
Right, that is what I was coming to. What is your purpose of coming to Pakistan? I mean, we know that the services that you've been providing to the people in the UK, no matter what religion, what caste, what color, creed they belong to, you guys treat them the same, which is absolutely, you know, commendable. But your reason for coming to Pakistan, do you feel like, so just yesterday I was, you know, Googling stuff about palliative care in Pakistan. There were probably few hospitals that, of course, I'm not supposed to name over here, but they were offering similar services, but not entirely what you guys are doing. So, of course, there's a lack of awareness over here. How are you going about that?
So essentially, that is our main goal. We are aware that there's funding pockets available here and there. There might be resources available, but what we are fully aware of is the fact that the field does not exist in the curriculum in Pakistan. You know, there's oncology here, and it's well advanced. Places like Shaukat Khan and places. There are oncologists who have palliative care experiences and who are able to provide some palliation towards the end of life, but there is no set guideline, criteria, curriculum, modules, or postgrad certification available at the moment.
Okay.
So essentially, we as a team would like to coordinate and bring this in here as a brand new idea into the junior doctors with the help of the senior doctors here, so that we can train them along those lines by getting guidelines from across the globe from there to here. This will involve training and education,
of course,
public awareness, and that's really the reason why we're here.
Hold that thought, because I really do need to talk about the seminar in detail, but that we will do towards the end when we're talking about the solutions and whatnot. But back to palliative care.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a difference between life-threatening and life-ending diseases?
Yeah. Limiting, yes.
Yes, limiting, of course.
Yeah.
So all sorts of patients are coming to you. And there are certain times, especially it happens in Pakistan, when you are facing a lethal disease and the doctor does find out, he diagnoses, the family finds out, they usually make a request that please don't reveal it to the patient, usko mat batana, wo sad ho, wo depressed ho jayega. Is it fair to the patient? I mean, it's their life. Do they deserve not to know what's going to happen to them? And does this happen in your area as well? If it does, how do you handle this? Any one of you?
Yeah, so I'm coming to the point where this mostly happens in Pakistan.
Yeah.
We have seen it where if a physician comes to know that, okay, the diagnosis is this patient has got end-stage cancer disease or end-stage renal disease, and this patient has got a few weeks to live. And initially, they don't give this news to the patient themselves. First, they give it to the family, and the family then says, oh, please, doctor, don't tell it, don't give this news to my mom or my dad, because they won't be able to take it. It's going to kill them before time. So please don't tell them. And then often we see that doctors don't end up telling the patient. Yeah. But I think this is just like taking a basic right away from that person. Of course. I mean, I've been in this situation myself, so I exactly know how it feels when my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and when I had to sit down with my doctor and tell her that, Mom, we don't have time left. This was heartbreaking for me, but I felt it was important. And the reason it was important was because Mom needs to sort out a few things in her life. Maybe she wants to say something to her kids. Maybe there is a bit of a debt she needs to pay off. Maybe, she has to say, she has to make some prayers to God. There are many things in life which are pending, and you want to finish them off before you die. I mean, all of us have to die, but think if I just die just like that and leaving everything behind. But I would prefer dying knowing that I am going to die in 4 to 6 weeks. I know it's painful, but let me sort my things out.
There's so many things that need to be done, of course, and we usually do not know about a lot of them.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's not really important for you to wait for something bad to happen to you to take a step. You can learn from these amazing people in the work that they are doing. We're going to share a small movie trailer with all of you. This is called My Sister's Keeper. Cameron Diaz is at her finest. So the daughter happens to be suffering from cancer, and she's about to, die or end life in a few months. And then the family decides to make all her moments cherishable. They, want to fulfill all her dreams, anything that she's wanted to do ever. They take her for a vacation and everything as well. So we're heading out to this trailer. It's called My Sister's Keeper. Let's take a look.
Most babies are accidents. Not me. I was engineered. Born to save my sister's life.
Having a child who is sick is a full-time occupation. Sure, we still enjoy the usual day-to-day happinesses. Big house, great kids.
You want to see a routine? What routine?
Hey, baby, what's your son?
Cancer.
You're a Cancer?
No, I'm Aaliyah. But I have cancer.
But beneath the exterior, there are cracks, resentments that threaten the very foundation of our lives.
Oh my gosh, it's really you. I'm Campbell Alexander. What can I do for you?
You've seen my commercials.
That's why I'm here. My sister has been in renal failure for months now.
You're supposed to give her a kidney?
I want to sue my parents for the rights to my own body.
Would you repeat that, please?
What's going on? Anna, you're suing us?
I don't want to do it anymore, Mom. It's my body. I want to be able to make my own decisions about what to do with it.
But it's against her will, so how does that work?
We went against nature, but we forced her into helping her sister.
I'm Taylor. Maybe we could hang together sometime.
Yeah. I don't mind my disease killing me, but it's killing my family too.
What is she doing out of the hospital?
We're going to the beach.
You take her to the beach, you're killing her. She's gonna die.
You better come, because if you don't, I want a divorce.
But somehow, the very things that tore us apart
Anna doesn't want to do it anymore.
I don't believe you. You are hiding something, Anna. Just tell him.
would bring us together in ways we could have never imagined.
I look pretty, Daddy.
I'll call it her die. I can't. I know it's important for you to feel like you never gave up.
I know I'll be okay. I'm sorry I let them hurt you. You know how brave you are.
So this is Well This Morning, which is a Hashmi, and we just watched a trailer of something that we are talking about. So in the movie, Dr. Sadaf and Dr. Amjad, we find that, you know, the family and the friends, everyone's coming together to make her life, the few last months or weeks of her life, you know, memorable. So I'm pretty sure the services that you guys provide are more or less related to this as well, because you take care of them, their physical health, their mental health, their social life and everything. What sort of activities do you guys engage them in? I mean, of course, you want to distract their minds off what is going to happen to them, right? So what sort of activities?
To respond to that, I'll probably refer to patients who are admitted on an inpatient unit in a hospice.
Yes.
As I use the word multidisciplinary, there's lots of therapies available. Some examples are complementary therapies, well-being therapies, counselling, counselling for family members as well. We call them family support team. We got activities like providing them with internet facilities and being able to, for example, have media at the tips of the fingers, watch their favorite programs, be able to sit outside, have people to talk to them. We've got chaplaincy services for people with spiritual needs.
Right.
You don't have to be religious to have spiritual needs, is the ability to connect to yourself.
Of course.
The most important thing in palliative care is when you're hit by a life-threatening diagnosis or a life-limiting one, you tend to lose yourself. You tend to just have a blank in front of you. You just don't know what to do next.
You can't be composed anymore, of course.
Yeah, you stop thinking. And that's what these people do in palliative care. We try to let them be themselves, to look ahead, to look at how they can make it worth it, how they can fulfill the things they can still do, rather than just say, this is it. That's the core concept which the founder of palliative care introduced. She was called Dame Cicely Saunders. In 1967, she set up the first hospice in the UK, St. Christopher's Hospice. Now, I'll just mention briefly about this woman. She's a great woman who's got a history of being a nurse initially, then moving on to becoming a social worker, and meeting somebody who was actually in the terminal phases of their life. She fell in love with this person, and he inspired her. He gave her the first sort of a fund of a £500 towards helping people towards the final stage of their life. Then, to raise her voice even further and become more stronger, this lady, at the age of 33, moved on to become a doctor.
Oh, wow.
So this is one person I'm talking about who actually has put the seed of palliative care, which is the foundation of palliative care all over the world right now. So she was against this one term, nothing more can be done. That's the key phrase she was against. And she introduced this multidisciplinary team concept. This is why we're here as well. If one person can make a difference like that, why can't we do it as well? And in a country like Pakistan, we've got people who've got the heart, people who've got the money, people who've got the resources, who will actually reach out, not only just in the name of religion, but also because of the education and the background to help each other.
Of course, and Pakistanis happen to be one of the top, most philanthropic nations. So I'm pretty sure when you do reach out to them, you guys had a seminar, I think, a few days ago as well, and I'm pretty sure the response was amazing because we love to help in any capacity that we want. But for another point that I need to understand better, what if a patient chooses to spend their last months or whatever their days are at their place and not in the, let's say, hospice? Is that an option, and do you guys cater to that as well?
Absolutely, yes. That's the whole concept. When I say enabling yourself, is mean to give control. That is a key question of how much you would like to know. What would you like us to do? Where would you like to die? There was a big stigma attached to these questions. And even today, anywhere in the world, there's a big barrier between doctors and patients. They're both wondering who's going to start the conversation. Shall I tell him? Shall I ask him where he's going to die? Or will the doctor tell me now how long I've got to live? So there's so many questions there, and there's a big barrier, and they don't want to approach this question because it's very heartbreaking and very unnerving. Yes, so essentially palliative care, there's community palliative care and there's inpatient care. It's everywhere. So essentially what we do, for example, in the UK, we've got community palliative care specialist nurses who reach out to the people who are providing palliative medical services, which they could have got in a hospice setting, and they said, no, we want to die at home. We respect that, and arrangements are made for the patient to be at home. Their needs met at home by community nurses who are guided by the nurses in the hospice and the doctors in the hospice. So yes, it reaches out to people who would like to spend the best quality of time with their family, for example, at home.
So even at the last stage of their life, you're sort of enabling them to choose for themselves and feel like, you know, it's literally not the end of life. I mean, you can also spend this as a good part of your life. So the medicines and everything, is that taken care of by the insurance, or is there charity work included? You guys paid off your pockets. How's it done?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So that is where I think Pakistan is struggling at the moment. So a lot of specialist palliative medications which are used in UK or any other developed country, that is not available in Pakistan at all. So medications like midazolam, glycopyrronium and loads of other medications, they just don't exist. And the reason they don't exist is there is a barrier set up by the government in terms of licensing. And we have come to know that even big cancer institutes where they deal with pain during oncology treatments, they also do not have, they are also struggling in terms of the morphine quota. And in terms of the morphine formulations as well, they have very limited formulations. They don't have the Oromorph, which is very important for breakthrough pain and things like that. So, so this is also one, in our project, this is one of our objectives is to then liaise with the government to ease off licensing for these medications to help these patients who are dying, help them with their symptom control.
Wow, that's brilliant, that's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, we're headed out to a very short break, but when we come back, we're going to continue the discussion because I'm learning so much today. So stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to World This Morning with Shaza Hashmi on a very pleasant day, ladies and gentlemen. We are learning about palliative care, and we are also learning how we can make this effective in our country, Pakistan, because we do need it. So both of you happen to work with these patients who are probably in the, end stages of their life almost every day, if not like most days of your week. How is it, working with them? I'm sure it's sentimental because even if you're working with them for a few weeks or few days, you do get attached. And it is such a sensitive time for their lives and for yours as well because you're a part of theirs. How does it get? I mean, how do you strike a balance between your family life and this part of your life, first of all? And then, is there a story that you guys can share with me? I mean, anyone that's close to your heart, probably?
There's lots of stories to share. There's so many patients to look after.
Yeah.
It's a very emotionally charged field, and you need to have a certain personality. I remember being interviewed for the job for a hospice practitioner, and it was mentioned on the job application criteria, you need to have a good sense of humor.
Okay.
And I wondered, what's humor doing on that list over there?
Right. You need to keep it light, of course.
Yeah, but keeping light in an environment like where people are actually really, really struggling. Anyways, I parked that thing, but while working in the hospice, working with people who actually deliver care, I found that personality is common across everybody.
Right.
To survive something, to live and work in a place like that, yes, we all human beings, we absorb stresses and depressive thoughts, and we carry it on our shoulders. We need to be able to put it aside sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
And also to be able to work in that environment, you need to have a very positive manner and attitude.
Yeah, that's what. So, do you guys take it to your home as well? I mean, does it ever happen that, of course, you're, you know, so struck by whatever was going on, and then you went home, you were angry with your kids, or you're probably shouting at your worker, "Don't do this, don't do that," for different reasons, because you're sad of something that happened at work. Does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the way I deal with it is, I guess, the more I see the pain, the more I become grateful to my God.
Of course.
I mean, so yeah, I mean, that is how I deal with it. We can't be thankful enough to our Lord for giving us this health and this life.
Most definitely.
So that's the way I deal with it. Every time I come back home and I just say to my God, Alhamdulillah, for giving me the health to help somebody. And that's how I deal with it. I don't know how you deal with it, Amjad.
But unfortunately, I've got a wife who's a doctor as well, Dr. Sadaf Hassan. She's also part of our group. She's a pediatric lead for the Shine Palliative project.
Wow.
We do tend to talk in medical language and medical jargon, if you want to call it.
Right.
But you know, it's a huge sense of relief we get talking to each other about this. We understand the sense of family, the importance of family after working in places like these. When we see people actually at the brink of losing their families, you get more attached to your kids, you spend more time with them. Actually, no, we don't bring depression home. We bring positivity home from these places of work.
Well, that's the attitude and that's the behavior we're talking about. But okay, so right now, the project that they're working for, they all happen to be Pakistani expats living in the UK and coming together working for it. And they're catering to, you know, people belonging to, as I already mentioned, all sorts of segments of the society. But do you guys plan on expanding this? I mean, is there a room for, let's say, anyone who's not a Pakistani and still wants to be a part of it? I mean, I know a lot of students who happen to be nurses or are learning medicine and already want to volunteer for something like this. So what if they're not Pakistanis?
No, we're open to everybody, in each and every soul, we're open to them. Anybody who wants to help us. So we've got our website, we've got our Facebook page, it's called Shine Palliative Care. There's an email there, admin@shinepalliativecare.com. You email to us, we interview you, and then we see how we can, you know, use your skills appropriately for the project. But everybody is welcome. This is a voluntary project which is run by human beings for human beings. It is all about life, you know, helping these people out in pain.
I know. Thank you so much for saying that. And since you mentioned helping people, each other, you know, especially in the last stages of their life, there's this other movie that we need to take a look at, the, you know, trailer. It's called Sunset Story. And here, two old people are coming together to cherish the last days of their life. They're all on a terminal illness. Let's see how this one goes. Let's take a look at this.
Are we connected?
Not yet. Okay.
Connected?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, ho, ho, Palliative Care, rock and roll. The bear is under attack. What do we do? Stand up.
Don't go too fast.
No, I'm not going too fast. Has everyone registered to vote here? Do it right now.
She's much more upbeat than I am because I see things as they are. I like it very natural.
Lucille walked in and she said, I talk a lot. Well, that appealed to me because I finally had somebody I could talk to. See how I match?
I'm thorough and she's Emerson, you know. And I'll often say to her, we don't have to agree on this, do we? And she says, no.
Don't you do that?
No.
No.
And not only that, she's been more Jewish since I'm here than I ever was my whole life.
Are you a Democrat? Good. Oh, that's so greasy. Look at it. We need a new cook.
Wunderbar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You strike me as magical.
For all lang syne, my dear, for all.
I feel that Life has to keep going on. There is so much to learn. And you can't do it in one lifetime.
Wow, this was Sunset Story, ladies and gentlemen. And just while we were watching the trailer, Dr. Amjad over here was telling me he has something to share with us, very much related to this trailer as well. So what was it?
So the hospice I work for, looking into the history of how it was made, I mentioned Dame Cecily Saunders. I mean, like how one person made a difference. This is somebody in our town, Huddersfield, where the hospice is. It was actually founded by a chap called David Stocks, based on a TV program, Going Gently, which was broadcasted in BBC Two. It was about two people in their last stages of life dying on a grave ward, and it was very depressing and things. It kind of set into motion people putting stuff into the examiner, making comments about it, and the need for a hospice in Huddersfield was recognised by a small group of people. They had a small meeting. They raised, I think they put 50 pence each. It was such a small amount. At the end of the evening, there is £4 something. And in 3 months, just by local awareness, they raised £500. They started the hospice movement literally like that. And with the hospital consultant's help, Alan Barlow, I think it was, they managed to make this hospice, which is a 16-bedded hospice where we're working at the moment. It's top of the range. It's amazing. The facilities, the pay people get, the level of care people get, is so personal. It's a training hospice as well. I'm just saying that a simple idea like this from a TV program can incite so much.
That too, and also real-life inspirations, ladies and gentlemen, go a very long way. I've seen this in so many different fields. So I think we've spoken a lot about what really palliative care is and what your project is doing, what your organization is doing about this. But let's talk about the solutions of this. And you already mentioned that one of the major purposes of you guys coming to Pakistan was awareing people of Pakistan about what this is and what they should do about this. So you already had a seminar or a workshop about this a few days ago. Tell us about that. What did you guys do during that? What the purpose of that was? And how are you going to make Pakistanis aware of whatever this is?
We managed to conduct a 2-day seminar involving local doctors. We are very thankful for them for their participation and endeavours. We found a lot of enthusiasts over there. Our seminar was based on topics around palliative care. So basically, introduction to palliative care, what it's all about, the concept of pain, and what actually pain is. Because pain is not just a physical manifestation, it's got spiritual and emotional aspects to it as well. We managed to conduct some case scenarios to explain difficult situations like breaking bad news, exploring patients' beliefs, respecting their wishes, withdrawing and withholding treatments, suffering of people in non-cancer states, because I think it's vitally important to highlight that cancer is not palliative care. Palliative care is not just for cancer. It's very broad. It's more about early recognition, impeccable planning, and saving people from going into that situation where symptom relief is out of hand. So just to give that kind of insight, it was an inspiring experience just to be able to convey all these messages, because the information is out there in the internet, textbooks and all, but the huge lack in the whole country of this whole thing. I feel very positive being a part of a team with Dr. Mudassir here and those amazing doctors back home. Especially, I'd like to mention Dr. Qamar Abbas, who was our training lead. He's the one he's just amazing. I have no other words to explain who he is. I hope he's watching this.
Well, I really hope so too. And one of your actually members of the same organization had to come here, but unfortunately she couldn't catch any of the flights. She was Miss Noreen Khan. I really wish you were here, but we, I think, spoke a lot about it. But for all my viewers out there, I know you tune into PTV World, especially to Well this morning, for your daily dose of something good in the morning. This was a little depressing, but we did not mean to depress you at all early in the morning. This was just for the purpose of making you aware and educating you about what this is. So all the people out there who are watching right now, Dr. Sadaf, individually, how can they be a part of this? I mean, are you guys planning on making a collaboration with any of the hospitals here, the government hospitals, probably private ones? How can they be a part of it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, any person in their personal capacity or professional capacity can volunteer for us. They have to just write an email and then we take it from there. Any organization who think they need us, they need our services, we're more than happy to collaborate with them. We are completely 100% charity organization. We just run this with our own pockets. We don't have any secondary gains, no political associations. We're just here to help the patient who's dying in pain.
No, but are you taking on board any of the hospitals who are already existing in Pakistan? Because of course you can't just start from scratch over here, right? You need to be in collaboration with things that are already going on.
Yeah, so currently, one is a university in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the Khyber Medical University, who really helped us in setting up these seminars, and we will be collaborating with them in future as well.
Wow.
So that's one organization. So with them, we will be setting up a postgraduate certificate in palliative care, which will be the first one of its kind here. And so that's one project which is going in future soon.
Perfect.
The other one is, so we've been in contact with Lady Reading Hospital in Peshawar as well. And hopefully we will be able to achieve some sort of understanding in near future. And basically what we were actually thinking, it's not yet finalized, about setting up community services, because that does not involve any more cost for the hospital, because our hospitals don't have money anyways. And then with the current resources, we can sort of train up their nurses to a really good level, and they can give these palliative services to these patients.
Wow. Absolutely love what you're doing, absolutely love the initiative, but towards the end, is there a message that you guys need to give out to the, let's say, the youth of Pakistan, especially? Because whenever I speak about Pakistanis, I usually do focus upon the youth, because almost 64% of our population is the youth. I mean, aged 15 to 30, and I expect a lot from them. And I already know a lot of people who are watching this right now will be more than willing to help you out. So this is your camera. Please go on with your message. Any one of you?
I'd like to give a message to the youth.
Yes, please go ahead.
We've all graduated in Pakistan, and we're working abroad and trying to make our country proud. We'd like you to be very serious in your education. We'd like you to think outside the box. We'd like you to take measures. We'd like you to, when you go out there and you do stuff like this, what we're trying to do right now, you'll have people criticize you and say things to you. Well, you sat abroad, and what do you know about what's going on here? I want you to tell them, look them in the eye and tell them that we will bring change.
Right.
And we will be the bridge from to bring modernization across the oceans to Pakistan.
Okay.
And never be demoralized by anything. Like we are here today purely for this purpose. We travel all the way just to send this message out to you guys, that you can make a huge difference by just being who you are and trusting your purpose and relying on all your resources.
Wow, very beautifully said. What about you, Dr. Sab?
I hope I don't cry again.
No problem.
So we are Pakistanis. We come from a very beautiful, very able country, and so we just want to give something back to our country, and it's about time. And unfortunately, we're not as fortunate. The Pakistanis who are sitting outside in Pakistan are not as fortunate as the other Pakistani doctors are sitting here, because they can do so much. But maybe we have that knowledge which maybe they don't have, and we're more than happy to share our knowledge and expertise to help equip them to then help these dying patients in the last days of their life. So if there's any doctor out there who understands what we're saying to them, if there's any layperson who understands what we're saying to them, it is all about a person who is being told by a physician, there is nothing left for you, we don't have treatment, go home and die. Don't let that person go home and die just like that. There's a lot of hope available. You can do so much for that person. And you know what? You help one soul and God will help you.
Definitely. And you guys told me that about 85% of the world does have access to palliative care. Yes. And Pakistan, unfortunately, does not fall under that. So what do you think are the barriers in Pakistan for good palliative care?
And the significant barrier is the lack of awareness.
Okay.
That is number one. I'm pretty sure once there is...
So we do have the resources, we just need to sort of make a team, bring people together about this.
We are a resourceful country, we are an educated country.
Right.
We've got plenty of doctors here and abroad as well representing us. I think it's just channeling the resources in the right direction. Everybody needs a sense of direction, and we are here to provide that direction through a very, very strong team.
Wow. You'll train as well?
We are happy to provide packages for education, put in seminars, workshops, and even introduce this postgraduate certification. Happy to liaise with higher authorities up in Pakistan. health system. Yes, we are able to provide that service, provide training to doctors and nurses in due course of time. We do have the resources. I would like you to tell you that.
Okay, perfect. And you know, there was a reason, especially when I mentioned the youth of Pakistan, because I talk to a lot of people who are looking for probably internships or anything to volunteer or spend their time in. And we always have this sort of discussion that I wish I was living abroad, because if I was, I could, you know, work at McDonald's, or I could be a cab driver and whatnot. Well, unfortunately, a huge chunk of the youth of Pakistan cannot resort to that sort of, you know, let's say internships or whatnot. But this is one of a very amazing, you know, sort of things that they are exposed to lately, because when I had to do an internship for my university, I had to struggle a lot to find the right sort of organization, the right conducive environment to work in and whatnot. So this is a thing for you guys to go to. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you working to volunteer anywhere, a lot of you happen to work with some social organizations and whatnot. So this is probably another thing that you can venture into. If you're an NGO, if you're an individual, if you're a teenager, of course, I know a lot of teenagers watching this show because they do write to me. So this is something you can venture into, as I already said. And if even you're a hospital, any organization is education institution as well, just sort of, you know, connect to them, because they will tell you what to do. And as Dr. Amjad already mentioned, that they even have different sort of packages for you, to cater to you. I mean, if you're an individual, they will have different packages for you. They can train you, they can have a lot of, you know, discussions and seminars with you, educating you. And then you can be a resourceful person for Pakistan and take care of the people who are terminally ill, unfortunately, and make a difference in the world. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Sadaf, Dr. Amjad, from all the way from the UK. I mean, it's brilliant to have people who are actually working for the betterment of Pakistan and not even living in Pakistan. The spirit is just amazing. I learned a lot today, ladies and gentlemen. If there's anything you need to write to us and add to our conversation, write on our Facebook page with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, World This Morning without a G, Daily Motion, and YouTube, World This Morning. And the repeat is going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, take care. Good morning.